Hey everybody, welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate the Star Wars movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
And I'm Mike Norton from BattlePuck.com.
Welcome back, Mike. I feel like we haven't been asking you if you can come back, and luckily you're available. So
I'm always here.
we just knocked on the window.
Always here.
I'm here when you do other shows. I'm just sitting here waiting.
Untapped resource.
Luckily, you don't have to wait too long today because we're here to talk about minute 144.
It's a big
Finally.
one.
Yeah. Gross. Of 144 of Last Jedi. It starts with Temiri Blagg getting his broom. And it ends with the credit for production designer, Rick Heinrichs.
Vic Heinrich.
Rick Heinrichs. Jean Valjean, production designer.
Do you want to hear an embarrassing story about this minute?
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
We're
I don't know if I turned my head or if I blinked or if I looked down at my popcorn, but it wasn't until I was talking with some friends like a week after I saw this movie that I knew that the kid used the Force to get that broom.
I didn't notice it either.
I didn't see it.
I didn't notice it the first time myself.
It's very subtle.
And so it makes that scene so much more interesting to me. When I saw it before, I was like, oh, this is kind of bordering on cheesy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like knowing that kid was like more directly tied to that.
He's
sort
a
of
Skywalker.
Yeah.
Or a
makes
Palpatine. You can only be one or the other.
It's true. Yeah, I didn't notice it either the first time I saw it. And
well, that makes me feel better. I thought I was the only one.
no, it's really
you
quick.
talk to people, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't see that?"
Yeah.
Right.
Wait a minute, people were being jerks about The Last Jedi? That doesn't
That's the
sound,
problem.
does not
It's
sound
hard
like
to believe.
anything I ever encountered.
The movie that made me rethink whether or not I liked Star Wars, and not because of the movie.
Well,
yeah, I remember I felt more, I don't know, I guess I liked the ending. I think it's a good, it goes with the theme of the movie, which is that, and you can come from anywhere, and, you can always escape your situation. We assume that he's going to escape. He's going to kill Thagbarg Bleed and escape, we
Eventually,
assume.
Once he builds that lightsaber broom,
right.
all bets are off.
Well, especially
literally, he's going into that casino.
Especially the way the scene ends with him kind of standing and holding the broom, and it looks a lot like a lightsaber. It almost looks like Luke Skywalker holding a lightsaber as he looks up at the sky. Do you think that light going by is supposed to be the Falcon, or do you think
that's what I think? I think that's why I was so confused about the time difference, and it's weird if he's telling a story about Luke Skywalker to begin with, but if it's seriously just like 20 minutes after it happened.
Well, I like if it's the Falcon because it continues the thread of the heroes of Star Wars being unconcerned with children who are in slavery. They're like, oh, should we stop at Kit? Nah, let's keep going.
Well, then also I like that it's like, okay, we've just barely escaped with our lives and we're on the run. Let's swing by the casino planet for no reason at all. It's like, did they leave something there? Like, what?
Relaxing.
Like,
you have to find the master code breaker.
Yeah, they still haven't.
We got unfinished business with that guy.
Maybe they just heard about how cool it was. They heard about the exciting nightlife, the gaming opportunities, the drinks, and more.
So I'm going to assume for my headcanon that it is a different ship altogether, and he's just dreaming about other worlds, just like Luke,
Luke was, yeah. I mean, it makes this whole movie actually really gelled for me like the second or third time I watched it. It made a lot more sense to me. Like I feel like I was watching it with different eyes the first time. I don't know what it was, but like the second or third time, it was a much better movie to me. And things like that are the reason why.
I think the first time, anytime you see the Star Wars movie for the first time, you're going in with some degree of preconceived notions, and sometimes it can be hard to be like, "Oh, that was not what I was expecting."
These last three, especially.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm a unapologetic fan of Force Awakens. I love that movie. These last two are definitely ones where you have to like sit there and think about it for a little while.
I often, I don't know, I feel like it's certain albums are like that too. Certain that I've got where it's just like the first time I hear it, I'm like, I don't know, like, what is this? It's like, I don't, but there's something about it. I'm going to go back and listen to it again. Either somebody told me it was good, or there's something, you know, I listened to it. I wasn't sure if I liked it, but it hooked me with something. And then slowly it grows on me. And then it becomes, oh, that's one of my favorite albums.
That's the thing about art in general. I mean, and that could be like years. It could be decades.
Right.
And then you look back at it and you're like, what was I thinking? I really like this. Or the opposite. You know, what was I thinking? I loved this when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think some of it just might also have to do with you're in a different headspace, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's, you know, that's how art works, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, let me say, force or not, Temiri Blagg is terrible at sweeping.
He doesn't put himself into his work. No. That's for sure.
No wonder he's getting yelled at by
he's not thinking. He's, you know, his mind's on other things.
I always prefer to look at it as like a work slowdown, like the way he's the only way he can protest his life as a slave is to slow down. So,
all right. Yeah. Like, look,
kill the owner.
I'm doing what you asked. Yeah.
The actor, Tamerlan Blagg. The other two actors had never been in. This is their only role. But Temiri Blagg was on the show Killing Eve, for which he was nominated for a Young Artist Award, Best Performance.
Wait a minute, is that the kid that she tries to kill in the hospital?
Never saw the show, can't tell you.
I bet it is, because there aren't a lot of kids on that show.
Anyway, he won Best Young Artist Award, Best Performance in a Streaming Service. That was his nomination. So maybe
because that's like a rated R show.
Yeah. Well, cool. Good for him.
I might have to go back and look.
Do you think we'll ever see Broom Boy again?
No. I think if they wouldn't let him be named Temiri Blagg if he was going to be a character that came back in things. I think there would have been a very carefully crafted name marketing thing planned for down the road. If he was going to be the star of
episode 9.
Yeah, then I think that they would have had that all planned out, and they would have been like, oh, it's going to be this. But instead, they're just like, I don't know, just scramble his name up. His name's
he's only called that, like, he's never called that by name on screen.
But but in things.
But I'm saying they could easily just say, oh, his name's not that anymore. Like,
I guess so.
It's something different now, you know.
I guess they could.
Now he's named Brick Manley.
That's the name that what's his name gave him.
Brick Manley. If you met Jedi Master Brick Manley.
Come on, you wouldn't want to see Brick
Manley.
Manley's
I'd feel safe around Jedi Master Brick Manley.
Not very smart, but he's tough.
He's not very smart. He can't operate a broom, but.
So I am very outspoken about my desire for there to be a big time jump. Do you guys remember having any thoughts about what you thought episode 9 would be? I mean, granted, the movie kind of, for better or for worse, does not really point in a lot of directions where you're like, well, the next movie's going to be about them rescuing Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like there's no cliffhangers left unresolved or anything for them to tackle.
Yeah, at this time in my life, and especially when right before Rise came out, I was definitely laying low on any kind of information or like supposition on this stuff. I didn't want to know. I wanted to be surprised. I do remember talking with a studio mate, and he had a really cool idea. Because, the title came out and we were like, well, what's it going to be? What's going to be in the next one? and he said it would be really cool since, you know, Luke doesn't want Jedi around anymore in this movie, that Rey just decides that, you know, all us Force users are going to be called Skywalkers now.
Mm.
Right.
And then I was like, that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. You know, it makes sense for the title and things like that.
Yeah.
But you know, that didn't actually
maybe it
happen.
is.
It sort of, I mean,
right? Maybe that's why she's, you know, like everybody now.
Yeah, I mean,
They all changed their last name to Scott, like the Ramones.
Yeah, like the Jedi, you know, like the Ramones now. You change, you take the lightsaber, you got to just change your last name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't want to know. I wanted to be surprised because, I mean, this movie did not do anything that I thought would happen.
Right.
So, and, you know, there was so much noise about it, too, that I just kind of didn't want to hear about any Star Wars stuff for a while.
Yeah, totally.
So,
it's easy to OD.
Yeah.
I did want to. I wanted to draw the parallels here between this scene and two other movie scenes. Was this okay? Between I think the Broom Boy is evocative of Gene Kelly in Thousands Cheer. He did a famous dance with a broom. He dressed it up a little bit and sang. It's the famous song. I can't think of it, but probably more
the Broom song.
Evocative, at least in my mind, when I saw it, I was just like, "Oh, he's gonna do the Boogaloo Shrimps broom dance from Breakin."
Yes, from Breakin.
Yeah, because there's some magic with the broom there. He stands it up and does this whole thing around it, and so that I think could have totally turned this into a dance number.
Turbo does sort of use the Force on that broom, doesn't he?
I'm glad that
he makes it float, doesn't he? He levitates that broom.
Yeah.
Wow. Turbo was a Jedi.
Is there how does he do it?
I
mean, with the Force. Duh.
He used the Force.
No, but it's some kind of magnets, or is it?
I didn't. I don't see a string in the movie, but
in the movie, is he supposed to be floating it, or is it like a magic trick?
It's like a dream sequence. It's like
all bets are off during a musical dance sequence.
I thought it was like he was on stage doing it, and like there was no explanation for how
no.
this
It's a lot like this, actually. It starts out where there's, like he's working in a job that he doesn't really care about, and I forgot who his boss is.
His boss is Ozone. Yeah, Ozone's working there.
Right. And tells him to sweep up. Go sweep outside, Daydreamer. And he's like, okay. And he goes outside and he grabs the broom and does the whole dance number. So,
do you think, in addition to Megaforce, this movie also has a tribute to Breakin in it?
It would not surprise me. Rian Johnson is, in our general neighborhood of age.
This may make this movie my favorite Star Wars now. Because, I mean, I own all three of these movies.
I'm just glad Breakin 1 is finally getting some recognition, because usually Breakin 2, there's a lot more hits on Breakin 2 than Breakin 1. So
it's like, Breakin 2 is kind of like it's a trap of breakdance movies, where it's like people know the meme. People will say Electric Boogaloo. They don't remember what the plot was about.
Right.
But I think there's a little more, it's the first one is a little more real.
So if Breakin 2...
First one is more real.
If It's a Trap is the Breakin 2 of memes, what is the Breakin of memes?
Wait, what? Oh.
What would be the less referenced?
Right.
Anyway, think about it. You don't have to answer right now.
Well, no, I think both of those just transcend. They're not as... Like Electric Boogaloo and Admiral Akbar, It's a Trap are both like they're not. They would have been forgotten. They would have been heart to heart forgotten as if not for meme culture picking them up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so I don't think there is I think Breakin is Star Wars. That's my pull quote right there. Breakin is Star Wars, said confused P3 Taylor.
Mm-hmm. And Empire Strikes Back is Beat Street, and then Return of the Jedi is Breakin 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. Beat Street's a totally different universe, dude. That's Star Trek.
Beat Street is Star Trek.
And I think in a better world, we'd be living in a world where they would be having reunions of like a crossover event of the Beat Street Breakin universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'd be getting introduced to the next generation of breakdancers under the mentorship of the original crew.
Yeah. We need a Breakin Legacy sequel.
Exactly. And it would be called Breakin 3 on the move.
Or so like BR3.
BR3, right.
BR3,
yeah.
Anything else about the actual content of the before we move on to the credits?
Well, it is it's hard for me to. I think my criticism of it might have been at the time that it's a little too kind of earnest and hopeful, which is not a thing to make fun of. It's not it's like, it's my cynical heart being like, oh, what is he?
Right.
Yeah.
But
Star Wars is pretty corny stuff overall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's not out of, it's not out of the realm of the language of Star Wars. It's just, it took me by surprise at the time, and I didn't know how to feel about it until later. Well, I was like, oh, this really does fit nicely with exactly what they were talking about, and being the spark and all that other stuff. And this is, and it's a very hopeful ending, which is nice.
Yeah. After so much stuff happens to everybody, this definitely is the empire of the
right. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, how can we kill more people than we did in Empire?
And then
Empire should have ended. Empire should have ended with a much more jovial, everyone laughing and having fun as they.
Exactly.
It's like, look at my new hand.
Yeah.
Doesn't shadow puppets.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we got to the credits.
Yeah, we're done with the action of this movie. No more people, no more faces will appear on screen. No more dialogue. What was the last line of dialogue in this movie? Do we remember? Oh, it was the angry monster being like.
That's. I think it's listed in the quotes on the IMDb page.
It actually is, but it's translated. I looked up
for real.
Yeah, I looked up the where is that?
The last human thing is Leia saying we have everything we need, right?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, there you go. Where is this? Doesn't say what is his name?
Translate.
Oh, the slave driver?
Yeah.
His name is, I'll tell you what his name is.
Tom Bombadil.
You want to know his name, huh?
Bargwill Tomder. You're right. Yeah.
Bargwill. It sounds like Tom Bombadil.
Bargwill Tomder.
Bargwill Tomder. And his quote on Wikipedia is, "Back to work, lazy little wretches."
Aww.
Which is what I'm assuming he's shouting when he runs in here and shouts at them. And,
the three toys they're playing with are the Jedi doll, the Walker toy, Walker, and the Gangster doll. I don't know what Luke adventure he's chronicling here.
Well, it according to I went back to Oniho Zaya's Wikipedia page, and his quote at the top is translated also. And it says, "And then the great Jedi Master Luke Skywalker bravely standing alone against the First Order."
Oh, there we go.
That is there.
This doesn't make sense to me.
Unless it is a while later, but it can't be that much longer later. Because like these kids are still just kids in the stables.
Yeah. Unless,
word spread fast. Not immediately, but so I don't think it's a 1-to-1. I think that shooting star is definitely not the Fall Alchemist.
Yeah.
Is it possible that there was already this legend about Luke doing it, and Luke doing it was kind of like live action role playing of this famous thing? Like he was self-consciously imitating like almost like Samuel Jackson showing up in Snakes on a Plane. Like it started off as an idea and then they're like, you know what, okay, I'll do it.
Right.
Do it. Anyway. But yeah, so the last line of dialogue is, "You miserable wretches, get back to work."
Right. Which is what he should have. It's like I'm picturing like Bargwell, Tom Bargarle coming out and
the gargling gargoyle.
Yeah. Angus McGonagall coming out and almost like Ferris Bueller.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're still here? Like, get back to work, you lazy wretches. Like at the end of the credits.
Yeah.
Because everyone loved that character so much.
Barburger.
It's him again. Yay.
Yeah.
I'm sure glad I stayed through the whole credits.
So then we cut to written and directed by Rian Johnson. Or do you know have you seen any other Rian Johnson movies, Mike Norton?
Oh yeah, I've seen several. I mean, I saw Brick a long time ago, and I love Knives Out.
So you're generally a fan of his work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he does a certain kind of movie very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I could say that I don't know if this is the best thing he's ever done, but I also think that his perspective definitely added something rather than subtracted from.
Mm-hmm.
I'm normally a fan of his, yes.
Yeah, I don't think I've still seen Brick is the one.
It's really good.
I've seen Lupa. I never saw Jumper.
Looper, I've seen Looper.
Jumper's not him.
Jumper's not him.
No.
Looper.
Brothers Bloom.
Brothers Bloom is great. I love Brothers Bloom.
Never saw that one either.
It's hard to say.
Although wait a minute, the Brothers Bloom, Broom,
Brothers
Brick,
Bloom.
Brick, Brothers Bloom, Broom. There's something going on here.
Mm-hmm. It's into inanimate objects.
Yeah, I caught Brick when it was out. I saw it at the Angelica Theater in Manhattan, not knowing much about it beforehand, other than I read something that said it was good, and then thought that was good, and then forgot about it. I didn't follow his career until I think after he was announced for The Last Jedi, and I was like, I don't know who that is, and then I went back and it's like, oh, it's the guy that made Brick, and people were just like, you didn't see Looper, and I was like, nope. Then I went back and I watched Looper, and I don't know, I thought Looper had some great parts and some not so great parts, and Brothers Bloom, I like Brothers Bloom a lot, and I liked Brick a lot, and I love Knives Out. It was great. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we also get a based on characters created by George Lucas credit. George Lucas, his Force Ghost showing up here in the credits, and George Lucas born in 1944, which makes he was only 2 years older than Anthony Daniels and only 7 years older than Mark Hamill when they were doing the original. He's obviously still the same that distance, but it's funny to imagine in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker was like a kid and George Lucas wasn't much older than him. So it's funny to imagine. I went on the IMDb and I have a list here. I have a list in my hand of George Lucas's acting roles.
Okay. George Lucas's acting roles.
Yeah, anytime he's appeared in front of the camera. And it's more than you think. We all know Baron Papanoida in Revenge of the Sith. You see him standing in the Opera House. He was on the OC, where he played George Lucas.
Yes. A friend of mine was telling me about that. Yeah.
He was on in Men in Black. He played an alien on the TV monitor.
Oh,
you remember him from it? So he's recognizably George Lucas? He's not
there's stuff? I think he plays. I think it's because Michael Jackson is himself too. So I don't.
Michael Jackson is in Men in Black.
Well, I don't. He's in one of them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! If I knew that,
he's like an agent. He comes over the monitor. He's like an agent.
I just, sadly, Biz Marquis just passed away not too long ago, and people were sharing a clip from Men in Black, I guess 2, with him in it, and I was like, I didn't.
Not Sharknado 2?
No, I didn't know he was in that either.
Yeah, he plays a pizzeria owner in Sharknado 2, and he beats a shark with a pizza mallet or whatever it is.
He was in the movie Beverly Hills Cop 3. He is credited as Gentle George, and he plays Disappointed Man.
Oh, interesting.
Anyone seen Beverly Hills Cop 3?
No,
yeah.
I
don't remember that.
I was just talking about Beverly Hills Cop because it's got a really crazy production history.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
went all over the place before it ended up what we actually saw on screen. But one of the most notable things that I learned about it recently is that in its original incarnation, it was a little more of a serious kind of it
was a Stallone
cop
thing,
out of water.
wasn't
Stallone was cast in it, and then he decided to do his own rewrite and made it darker, grittier, and more kind of action packed. And they were like, "This is not
Cobra.
that's not what we're doing." Yeah, and he turned it into Cobra.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like he literally he changed. It was Axel Cobretti.
But then he would have played the Bronson Pinchot part. That's funny that he was going to play Axel Foley.
Then Harrison Ford was offered the role of Axel Foley and turned it down. So imagine that. Wow. Imagine Harrison Ford in Beverly Hills Cop.
That's worked.
That's weird. I can't imagine him being the sassy, the smart. I guess he would have been a different character.
Yeah, I think it would have been a little more serious. It would have been.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been dead serious, but it would have been a lot more kind of.
What's Harrison Ford's funniest movie? Raiders?
Raiders? Frisco Kid?
Frisco Kid is awesome.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
What's the let me call up a Harrison. What movies was he in?
Oh, the Lego
Harrison
movie.
Ford.
Duh.
American Graffiti is very funny.
That's true.
I mean, he's never the funny part of any movie, but
although I love it. Right as you said that, I scrolled past his credit for Star Wars Holiday Special. I was like,
let me finish up with George Lucas's acting roles. He was in the movie Hook. It's not surprising. He played the man kissing on a bridge. Anyone seen Hook? I've never seen it.
I've seen Hook, yeah.
This is one that surprised me. He's in Temple of Doom, playing a missionary.
Huh.
I wonder where that is. Yeah. Is it in the...
Luckily, I just happen to be at the Harrison Ford page here. So let me pop open Temple of Doom and see if I
can only just think it was maybe at that... either he's like a background character while they're in China.
Or maybe at the airport. China?
Yeah, it's like just kind of like...
maybe.
Or like someone in the street, one of the...
Sure.
They do that chase. Or if there's a missionary in the castle that they visit, the Indian...
like the dinner scene?
Yeah. I also learned that George Lucas, he executive produced a bunch of stuff. Red Tails, probably his most recent, last production. He also did Howard the Duck, as we all know, and he was also the executive producer of Land Before Time. Go figure.
Did not know that.
So, do you know how many Land Before... We've talked about this before, probably, but how many Land Before Time movies there are?
Lands Before Time?
How many Lands Before Time?
At least 3.
I think it's more than that. 6?
It is 14.
Whoa!
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're still making them.
Yeah. Let me see when the last one was.
It's weird because if they keep making them, eventually they're gonna run out. They're gonna be at time.
2016 was Land Before Time 14, Journey of the Brave.
What year is that? 14?
In 2016.
Oh, 26? So 5 years.
Movie 14.
Wow, it's a pretty foul. It's a pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
It must be caught up in some legal wrangling or something.
Although, before it was 9 years. The one before that was 2007, 2006,
so 2005.
Most of them
they were
come
out like
pretty frequently. Yeah.
Yeah. So they must have just lost steam.
There was wow. 94. Number 2 came out in 94.
Extinct. 94.
Then 95, 96, 97, 98. Little jump. 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2016.
Wow.
So
that is a lot of
whoever's doing Land Before Time Minute, you got your work cut out for you.
Oh god.
Wow. Yeah, I do not see where there's not a picture of it lists George Lucas as missionary. But it's in the same section as Tourist at Airport, which is where
maybe it's there.
George Lucas, Steven Spielberg is Tourist at Airport.
Dan Aykroyd.
And Frank Marshall is Tourist at Airport. So they might be missionaries. They might be at the airport.
So,
yeah.
Lao She.
Hanging out with Danny Aykroyd. Well, that's all I have for minute 144. That's gross.
I can't figure out what the funniest... I think it might be, might be Raiders, might be Frisco Kid, it might be...
American Graffiti.
American Graffiti. That was, I don't have anything else for 144.
All right, take us out of here.
Mike, we got one more of these before we close out the week. Can you come back? It's going to be all credits, just a list of names rolling by on the screen.
Okay.
You can
all right.
Psych yourself up. You don't have to. We'll see. We'll come back tomorrow, and we'll see if you're here.
If you don't show up, we totally understand. we'll just go on without you, but yeah.
I've come too far.
But in the meantime, normally I feel like we would mix in a plug for 8 Day Greedo, but I think it's too late for that. Sorry, everybody, you missed out. But
too old.
we've got a little bit more than a week left of episodes, and then after that, the only way that you can find us regular episodes will be by supporting us on Patreon. I may have talked about that earlier in the week, but we're going to talk about it again. StarWarsMinute.com/Patreon. We do at least an episode a week over there. So if you find you miss us, go support us, and we'll keep dropping them over there, and then we'll come back. Luckily, you don't have to wait that long. We'll come back tomorrow right here. A brand new episode of Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.
Yeah.